Hey everyone, Noah St. John here from noahstjohn.com and affirmations.com. And welcome to the Ask Noah St. John show right here on noahnation.com. So I'm here every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on noahnation.com, where I answer your questions about how to get rid of your head trash, get unstuck, find your voice, and automate your business so you can have more time freedom, personal freedom, and financial freedom. So one of the things that we're doing right now is I'm walking you through some of my most favorite books of all time. I'm just a book nerd and I love books. I grew up in the library as a way to escape my childhood and escape to places that, I wanted to go to and just get out of the situation that I was in. So I just love books. And so today, I'm going to be continuing my look at one of my all-time favorite books, which is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, from John Gray, who was the second big name to give me a testimonial many years ago. In fact, back in 1997, 98, when my first book called Permission to Succeed, when this book came out, John Gray is right there on the back of that book, his testimonial. So very, very honored. And so, I told you the story earlier about how I got that testimonial from John Gray because I really love this book and it really helped me a lot. So basically, here's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, you can ask me anything you want about any topic, all right? Because I help people make money. I help people in their relationships. And basically, you just go to noahstjohn.com/praise and you'll see just a few of the amazing success stories that we've had with my coaching clients and mastermind students throughout the year. So you can ask me anything you want about financial freedom, time freedom, personal freedom, growing your business, attracting more money, whatever it might be, and I'll be happy to answer them. But what we like to do here is just go through these, my books, not my books, my favorite books. So this is this one. All right, so here we are on the chapter called Men Go to Their Caves and Women Talk. Now this is really, really interesting. I really enjoy this chapter because this really explained a lot. I've been in a lot of relationships prior to reading this book in the early 90s. And I remember that this chapter really explains so much. I was like, well, that just makes total sense, because that certainly was the experience that I had when I read this chapter. I'm like, my gosh, that's like every relationship I've ever been in. It's exactly like this. One of the biggest differences between men and women is how they cope with stress. Men become increasingly focused and withdrawn, while women become increasingly overwhelmed and emotionally involved. At those times, a man's needs for feeling good are different from a woman's. He feels better by solving problems, while she feels better by talking about problems. Not understanding and accepting these differences creates unnecessary friction in our relationship. So he talks about Tom and Mary, and Tom comes home from a stressful day. He wants to watch TV or read the newspaper, just, kind of unwind and be quiet, whereas Mary wants to talk. And without understanding their differences, they grow further apart. Okay, so the point is that coping with stress on Mars and Venus, meaning men and women, to feel better Martians, men go to their caves to solve problems alone. But to feel better Venusians, women get together and talk openly about their problems. When a Venusian becomes upset or stressed by her day, to find relief, she seeks out someone she trusts and then talks in great detail about the problems of her day. Every husband who's listening to this knows that this is the case, right? This is what women, generally speaking, do. Again, you realize that John here is talking in very broad brush strokes, all right? Obviously, this isn't every woman and it's not every man, but is this very common? I've certainly found it to be. Have you? Have you found it to be common or not common? Is he way off base here? To me, he was way on base, so this really helped me a lot. Finding relief in the cave. When a man is stressed, he will withdraw into the cave of his mind and focus on solving a problem. I still do that. I definitely do that. When I have stress, when I've got problems, when I've got things I want to solve, I go to my cave. I even call it that. I say, honey, I'm going to go to my cave and I'm going to work on this problem, right? And he generally picks the most urgent or the most difficult problem. He becomes so focused on solving this one problem that he temporarily loses awareness of everything else. Like, for example, I tell the story of how I wrote 2 books in 90 days. That was definitely focused time in my cave of saying, hey, man, I got to get this done because I just signed 2 contracts. I signed a contract with Hay House and I signed a contract with not HarperCollins at that time, but that was with Nightingale-Conant. So I had to write 2 books in 90 days. So, I mean, it was great. It was a wonderful opportunity. I was very grateful for that, but it was also kind of stressful because I'm like, my God, I got to pump these books out. So you understand, I wasn't really available at that time, but, you know, fortunately, you know, I read this book and other ones, and I communicated that to Babette, and I said, honey, you know, I really have to focus on this, so I may not be very available over these next few weeks, okay? And of course, she was very understanding and totally got it, okay? But sometimes, if a woman doesn't understand the cave, she'll say something like, you don't listen. And he says, what do you mean I don't listen? I can tell you everything you just said. How many times have we heard that in relationships, right? You know, she says, you don't care about me. He says, of course I care about you. Why do you think I'm trying to solve the problem? Right? I mean, to me, these are just very, very common, you know, situations in male-female relationships. A woman, now he goes on, finding relief through talking. A woman under stress is not immediately concerned with finding solutions to a problem. Now, this really helped me. A woman under stress is not immediately concerned with finding solutions to her problems, but rather seeks relief by expressing herself and being understood. To forget her own painful feelings, a woman may become emotionally involved in the problems of others. How men react when women need to talk, right? So a man, this is what we talked about in another, or he talked about in the previous chapter, and I talked about in another video, is that a man will go into problem-solving mode, right? Because she's talking about what he hears as problems, and he's trying to fix them. Right? But women hear that as trying to control them or not even listening, even though when he's going, what are you talking about? I am listening and I'm trying to help you. But that's not the help she needs. Again, you understand we're speaking very generally, right? So how Martians and Venusians found peace, what the Martians learned. So here's the point of this chapter here. When the Martians realized that even when they felt they were being attacked, blamed, or criticized by the Venusians, it was only temporary. Soon the Venusians would suddenly feel better and be very appreciative and accepting. By learning to listen, the Martians discovered how much the Venusians really thrived on talking about problems. And then the Venusians learned, Venusians also found peace of mind when it was not a sign that he didn't love her as much. Venusians were not offended when Martians were easily distracted. Okay, the Venusians discovered that by asking for the Martians' attention in a relaxed and accepting manner, the Martians were happy to redirect their attention. Okay, so one of the things I appreciate about my wife is that she definitely does that. You know, she, I have to say, she's not a normal woman. She really doesn't do this, which is really funny. So I can actually personally attest to the fact that not all women do this, because my wife does about things, but sometimes she does. Sometimes she just needs to talk. And thank God that I read this book many years ago and I just listened without trying to solve her problems. So has this, what that does and has done is it has alleviated many, many arguments that would have happened had I tried to go in and solve problems, right? She doesn't want me to solve her problem. She's more than capable of solving her problem. Now, she certainly might want to talk to me and get advice, but, you know, most of the time it's just to talk, and then she figures it out by talking. So for me, as a man, when I talk about something, it's because I need advice. I need help. I'm looking for, you know, expert opinion. I talk to my wife. I say, honey, what do you think about this? And, you know, we'll look at a web page, or we'll look at a product launch that we're doing, or any of these things, you know, all of the marketing stuff that we do, putting out programs and products and so forth. And I'll say, honey, what do you think? And then she'll say, well, you know, you might want to change this, or when you say it this way, it doesn't sound quite right. I'm like, you know what, honey, that's a great point. I hadn't thought of it that way. So we've got great communication, and a big, big part of that is understanding and accepting our differences and realizing that together we make a great team. So how can you apply this to your life? Well, just follow the advice. It's pretty much that simple. So for men, be a better listener, be more attentive. Also, be very clear. Let's say you do have a big project at work, or you got to get that book written, or do your videos, or whatever it might be. You might say something like I do and say, honey, you know, I've got to focus on this. This is going to take me 4 hours to do, or 8 hours, or 4 weeks, whatever it might be. You know, and what I've done, and this has worked wonders in our relationship, is I literally just set the framework. And I say, honey, you know, for these next 4 weeks, I may not be very attentive to you. It's not that I don't love you. I really love you. That's why I'm doing this project, so we can have a great life together, you see? And she's perfectly fine with that and no problems at all, right? And then for the woman, what you might do is, you see he's distracted. You might say something like, hey, honey, is there something on your mind? And he'll probably say, no, nothing. So he may not be totally ready to come out of his cave yet, and that's okay. So, basically, it is about accepting the differences between men and women. I know this really has fallen out of favor. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But basically, I think it's kind of like the backlash syndrome. Whenever anything becomes really, really popular, there's always a backlash against it. So hopefully these videos are helpful to you guys, because this book and the other ones that I'm going to be going through, in this series, because I'm really just showing you why these are some of my favorite books from some of my favorite authors of all time. I'm a book nerd, so I figured the best way to share my passion with you is to just share my passion with you. Just do it very, very simply and honestly, and take you through this, and hopefully it's helpful to you. So what is our affirmation of the day today? Well, our affirmation of the day today is, why do I seek to understand my partner? You could even say, why do I accept my partner? And why is it great that my partner is different? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of great affirmations that you can use there. Speaking of affirmations, if you go to affirmations.com, see it spelled right there on the screen, you can actually join my affirmation system. And what I do is I walk you through the 4 steps to actually change your brain using my affirmations method that has helped literally hundreds of thousands of people in over 100 countries to change their brain, change their beliefs, and really change their lives. You'll see some incredible real-life case studies and success stories on that page, affirmations.com. And then make sure you go to noahstjohn.com and get my new book. It's called Get Rid of Your Head Trash. And you can just download that absolutely free. Go to noahstjohn.com, click on the download link, and just put in your information. I'll send you my new book, Get Rid of Your Head Trash. Absolutely free. All right, well, for everyone here at successclinic.com, I'm Noah St. John, and I look forward to being a part of your success story. See you next time, everyone. Bye-bye for now.